Do you agree that he has no authority to stop payments on anything that Congress has authorized and appropriated?
I think that's being tested, but I think generally that should be correct.
If he were asking you, would you advise him to not stop payments that have been authorized and appropriated by Congress?
Well, my statement said that Congress has appropriated money or provided money, and there should be an examination of the results of how that money is being spent. That's what I think should be done.
I missed the earlier procedural vote. I just want to make clear. I think that Mr. Musk should come and testify before this committee to explain that he is not going to stop payments at all for money that Congress has authorized and appropriated.
Earlier today, both on TikTok and on YouTube, I had Republicans in my comments insisting that Elon Musk and his little band of Shitler youth are only carrying out an audit. They aren't touching any of our funds. They're not stopping any spending. They're just doing an audit to find out where there is government pork, where there is overspending government waste. And the administration's own witnesses have said that he should just be carrying out an audit, that he does not have the legal right to be touching any of that money. Now, we could talk about the fact that he doesn't actually have a legal right to do an audit either, and that what he's doing is not an audit at all. But I want to make something really clear here, and Rep. O'Connor is trying to get to that point. Elon Musk does not have the authority. He is usurping the authority of Congress. He is stealing the constitutional powers of Congress when he decides to stop funding for programs. He decides to cut off money that Congress has allocated must be spent. He has no authority under the Constitution or anywhere else to be doing that. So why is it that Republicans shut down a subpoena to have Musk come address Congress and tell them what he's doing? If it's really only an audit, if everything he's doing is above board, if everything he is doing is completely legal and is good for the American people, then why isn't he testifying on camera, under oath, in front of the nation, that he's only carrying out an audit, what that audit entails, how he and his little band of post-pubescent boys have the authority, the clearance to be accessing and looking at that information, and to reassure the American people that he's not fucking with our Social Security and with our Medicare or anything else for that matter. To reassure Congress that he is not usurping their powers as laid out in the Constitution. Why isn't he willing to appear and get on the record? Why is it Republicans are trying to shut down transparency and trying to hide what he's doing? Why is it that they shut down a subpoena to have Musk come and talk to the American people and let us know that everything he's doing is an above board legal audit? And I really briefly want to reference my mutual Megan. By the way, if you don't follow Megan, her takes are fabulous. If you're watching this on TikTok, click and check out her full video. If you are watching on YouTube, I will link to her TikTok account in the video description. But Megan posted a video earlier today that ties into all of this here and I think is super spot on.
Okay, I'm going to say something that may be a little controversial about how we're responding to all of the shit and shenanigans that Elon Musk is doing and just sort of barging in and taking over and essentially shutting down aspects of the government. I think the primary example of this would be the USAID stuff, but this could apply across the board. And the controversial thing I want to say is this. I think it's a mistake to focus too much attention on what these aspects of the government were doing and who will be impacted and what will happen as a result. I'm not saying ignore it completely. I'm saying I've seen too much reporting and too much sort of social media content focusing on what these organizations do and or what will be the impact of shutting them down the way they're being shut down. I think that that's actually a good way to get bogged down in the weeds when what we really need to be focusing on, I think, is the top line thing. He shouldn't be allowed to do this.
I 100% agree with this take. In my video the other day, I think it was yesterday, time is real, everything is happening so fast. Time feels distorted almost. I was saying that it's worth calling your senators and your congressperson, even if they are Republicans, because they can still be leveraged. And one of the talking points I had put forward was to ask your senator, hey, Senator so-and-so, like, are you concerned? Because I'm concerned. Are you concerned that Elon Musk is usurping your authority? I am concerned about an unelected South African taking powers away from my senators and congressmen. I am concerned that he is depriving you of the ability to do your job, that he is stopping you. He is taking away your constitutional obligations. He's taking away the power of the Congress, and he is consolidating it for himself. And he is just doing whatever he wants, and therefore depriving you of your role and depriving us, the American people, of the right to have representation through the Senate and through the House. Framing it very clearly to Congress like y'all are a bunch of cucks sitting in the cuck chair watching Elon Musk fuck the country. Like, this is really embarrassing for y'all. I get that you want to align yourself with Trump because you think that he has the power of the mob behind him, despite his tanking approval ratings. By the way, you should look at Elon Musk's abysmal approval ratings. And so you're perfectly willing to bootleg and look like you are loyal to Trump, but do you not understand, Republican senators and congresspeople, do you not understand you are giving up your own power? That's real weird. Aren't y'all real power hungry? Don't you want to have your influence? Don't you want to have your pork for your state? Don't you want to have your power? You worked so hard to get into the Senate, to get into the Congress in order to do your job and in order to throw your weight around. Why are you so quickly, so easily, with so little pushback, giving that all over to an unelected South African billionaire? Right? I think the messaging, as Megan says, needs to be not only to the public, not only presented to the press, the message to our Republican representatives in Congress and to anybody who will listen to Republicans in our lives needs to be that Musk does not have the authority to be doing this. As Megan said in her video, like, you're not going to get some kind of compelling ethical narrative. You're not going to appeal to their sense of humanity. If these are people who are fine, they happily voted for the withdrawal of aid to Palestinian children. They happily voted for the withdrawal of aid to kids in Africa to prevent them from contracting HIV. They want to do away with free and reduced lunch at school. They want fewer people on Medicaid, despite the fact that we know that a lot of Republicans take Medicaid and food stamps and use WIC. Like, you can't appeal to their sense of humanity. You can't appeal to them of like, oh my gosh, you guys, it's devastating for the environment that he's gutting the EPA. They don't give a shit. They don't believe in climate change. They don't care. So what do you have to appeal to? Where is your point of leverage? This is what I said the other day about when you're calling your reps. Where is your point of leverage? They have no ethics to appeal to. So what is it? What is it that appeals to them? Power. And what are things that appeal to Republican voters? I know it doesn't seem like it, but they're the party that's like, we love the Constitution. They think what Musk is doing is constitutional. And we need to remind them and everybody else, he is not an elected official. He is running amok, doing whatever he wants. Trump has handed him the keys to the kingdom and is letting him and his little pack of boys scurry around the federal government, poking their nose in our business when they do not have security clearance. They are not qualified in any way. And they are stealing the authority away from Congress, away from our elected representatives, both Republican and Democratic. The point that needs to be put forward over and over again is he is not a government official. DOGE is not a real department. He does not have the authority to be doing any of this. It is illegal. There are no checks and balances. There's no security clearances. He has not been vetted. He is not qualified. He has no legal basis to be doing what he's doing. And I do think that that needs to be a lot of the driving message going forward. And when we question Congress, when Rep. O'Connor and others are questioning their colleagues in Congress, there is no appealing to their ethics and morals and their sense of humanity. There needs to be shaming them about how willingly they went and sat in the cuck chair and let Elon Musk fuck the country. How these big, strong, masculine Republican men very quickly offered up all of their power and influence, all of their role as delineated by the Constitution. They just handed it over. They handed it over. Are they okay with that? Are we, the American people, okay with an unelected man acting as if he is above the law simply because he's super fucking rich? Treating the information and the finances of the American people as if they're his own personal video game. What gives him the right? He does not have the authority to do this. It is illegal. That's the talking point. That's the talking point for everybody. And yes, discuss the side issues, but realize where the leverage is and what's going to be persuasive for which particular audience.